Men's professional tennis is finally back as the 2020 Western and Southern Open kicks off the resumption of the ATP. In a field headlined by Novak Djokovic, Dominic Thiem, Daniil Medvedev, and many more, who will be the first player to lift a trophy in over 6 months? I'll break down this draw, highlight all the popcorn matches, and give you my predictions of the ultimate victors here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today. In his path to a second Cincinnati Open title, Novak is projected to face American Tommy Paul, who started the year strong in Australia and Acapulco. The following round, he's looking at meeting young Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime, and after that, it's last year's finalist and 7th seed David Goffin. In the semis, he sets his score off against defending champion Daniil Medvedev, and in the finals, either Tsitsipas or Thiem. Second-seeded Dominic Thiem will likely start his campaign against Filip Krajinovic, followed by Grigor Dimitrov in the round of 16. In the quarters, 5th seed Alexander Zverev is a likely opponent, and in the semifinals, it's Stefanos Tsitsipas. In the finals, though, he's projected to play either Novak or Daniil. Speaking of Daniil, the defending champion will start his title defense against a qualifier, and afterwards, possibly 13th seed Cristian Garin. In the quarterfinals, he could play Roberto Bautista Agut, and in the semis, Djokovic. For the championship, Stefanos or Dominic are the projected opponents. Lastly, in his opening round match, Steph could possibly face two-time major finalist Kevin Anderson, followed by John Isner in the third. The quarterfinal sees him squaring off against Matteo Berrettini, followed by Thiem in the final four. In the championship, it's either Medvedev or Djokovic. Looking at Djokovic's section as a whole, you don't really see anything too out of the ordinary in terms of tough early round matches. Auger-Aliassime could cause problems in that third rounder though. The Canadian did have a strong showing at the Ultimate Tennis Showdown event, but he's always unpredictable due to his high-risk way of playing. The two have never met either, which could serve as an advantage to Felix. Fellow Canadian Denis Shapovalov has a tricky first rounder on his hands, squaring off against 2014 US Open champion Marin Cilic. The two actually squared off against one another just before the shutdown at the Marseille Open, a match that saw Shapovalov beat Cilic in 3 sets. Obviously, a lot can change in this 6-month break, but Marin was having the better season despite losing to Shapovalov, so I'm going to give him the edge here solely on confidence. The bottom half of this section really doesn't have anything interesting as all of these players are merely solid. Under normal circumstances, I say that Novak makes the semis with little trouble. However, seeing that he hasn't played a match in so long and contracted the virus, there are just a lot of uncertainties, and I see Felix or one of these solid players giving him a hard time. Still, because he is so great, I have him coming through. Medvedev's section has a lot of unknowns, literally, as 5 qualifiers reside there. After his first match, he's looking at facing either Taylor Fritz or Cristian Garin. Garin had a decent showing in Australia, but absolutely killed it during the South American clay court swing, winning back-to-back titles in Cordoba and Rio. Taylor Fritz, on the other hand, had a very good hardcourt season thus far, losing to eventual finalist Thiem in 4 sets in Australia, plus making the finals of Acapulco, falling to Rafa there. I give the edge to Fritz should they face, because he's had the advantage of playing World Team Tennis, and is just stronger on hardcourts than the Chilean. The bottom half is headlined by Karen Khachanov and Roberto Bautista Agut, both of whom had average starts to the season. Richard Gasquet could pose a potential problem as he had an impressive UTS showing. This section is kind of tricky because the highest seed here, Daniil, didn't have the best results near the start of the shutdown. So much can change over that course of time, but I'm going with my gut and with recent results, taking Taylor Fritz to come through this section and surprise everyone. The third section is Tsitsipas's, and starting at the top, we have Matteo Berrettini having to face a qualifier in the first round. These qualifiers are not pushovers or instant wins by any stretch. Matter of fact, I think they're even more dangerous because they actually have more matches under their belt. Berrettini though probably won't be too fazed by this, as he won a UTS Showdown event and came in second at the Bet1 Aces event. Riley Opelka and Diego Schwartzman are on a collision course for a battle of the giant and not so giant. I think this mini section has a lot of potential for its round of 16 matchup, as Berrettini, Opelka, and Schwartzman are likely to be in good form. Moving down, we have John Isner, who has a tricky match against Poland's Hubert Hurkacz. Tsitsipas, meanwhile, will face either Kyle Edmund or Kevin Anderson, both of whom are good but unpredictable players. I see Anderson coming through here to face Steph, and the Greek could have a lot on his hands if the South American plays up to his potential. However, I believe if he gets past that tough opener, things will be okay moving forward, because unlike Hurkacz or Isner, Tsitsipas has had a lot of match play over the break. This section is especially difficult to pick a winner of because there are just so many high quality players, but their current form is unknown. I believe Berrettini and Tsitsipas will face each other in the quarters, giving Mateo the edge. The two actually played each other last month in the Ultimate Tennis Showdown, and Tsitsipas won that in sudden death. Steph, however, has never performed well at New York, and the last year's semifinalist Berrettini, I'm sure, will be more comfortable out there and have a bit of a chip on his shoulder from the UTS loss. The fourth and final section is teams, which has by far the most competitive mini section in Zverev's. Alex will have to play either Frances Tiafoe or Andy Murray in his first round of competition, which is just crazy. Right under that popcorn match is another, as we have the battle of the big servers, Sam Querrey and Milos Raonic. Then of course is Andrei Rublev, who had an incredible start to the season. I have absolutely no idea who is going to come through here, because once again, we don't know exactly where these guys are at in terms of form. Tiafoe was recently diagnosed with corona, which can affect your stamina, especially late in the match. Murray, on the other hand, had shin issues during the Battle of the Brits exhibition. Andy says that he's fine, so I'm going to give him the edge here, because I feel that Tiafoe will still feel the side effects of the virus. Querrey and Raonic is more of a toss-up, because although the Canadian has won their last 4 matches, fitness is a possible concern, as he did gain some weight during the quarantine. Because of this, and Sam getting some matches at World Team Tennis, I'm picking him in this one. Rublev has always played well in New York, so I think he can potentially go deep in this tournament should he get past Evans, one of the big servers, and Zverev, who just beat him in the Australian Open quarters. Alex is another X factor because while he showed promising form at the UTS, he had service yips at the Adria Tour. That issue, plus his difficult draw, could prevent him from going deep here, but I'm actually picking him to advance to the quarters, mostly due to his preparation throughout the pandemic. Speaking of great preparation during the pandemic, Dominic Thiem, the exhibition king, has a very favorable draw at least until the quarters, as his projected seed Dimitrov is still recovering from his coronavirus contraction. I think these exhibitions give Dominic the edge, which is why I see him winning not only this section, but the entire tournament. I know that was a sharp transition, but yes, Thiem is my pick to go all the way here, because his showing on those fast Australian Open hard courts was thoroughly impressive, and I think he's adapted his game so that he can succeed on those quicker surfaces. The courts in New York are apparently playing much faster this year, which can help Thiem if he has that same mindset he did in Melbourne. While I ultimately picked Novak to be in the semifinal, I'm not 100% confident that the Serb will be able to pick back up at the high level he had in the first quarter of this season. I wouldn't be surprised if both he and Medvedev lose early here, matter of fact. Yes, crazily enough, I am picking Taylor Fritz to play Thiem in the finals because I feel that even if it's not him, we'll have a surprise finalist. Once again, I believe that Tsitsipas, Zverev, and Berrettini have potential to make life difficult for Thiem, but I'm still going with the Austrian to pick up his second Masters 1000 title. Just quickly jumping in, after I finally got to editing this video, all the qualifiers were set, as Alias Benede, Richard Berankis, Salvatore Caruso, Marton Fucsovics, Marcos Giron, Norbert Gombos, Lloyd Harris, Sebastian Korda, Mackie McDonald, Cam Norrie, Emil Raducanu, and JJ Wolf are all in the main draw. By the way, Medvedev's opening round opponent will either be Giron or McDonald. I see him getting by either guy without much trouble. That's all for this tournament preview, and let me know your thoughts on the draw and whether you agree with my picks and predictions in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post new content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.